Yeah, good evening, dear students. Welcome to the live virtual classes conducted by Board of Studies Academics for CA Intermediate students. And dear students, I also want to inform you that we have initiated one audit insight, namely virtual series, wherein we are sharing practical insight. So here in the LVC class, we are covering our whole syllabus, and in that session, we are giving practical aspects, right? And today, we are going to start with our chapter 1, Nature Objective of Audit, right? And faculty for the session is CA Akriti Dalmia. She is a chartered accountant who cleared all levels in first attempt. And since then, she is in practice. She is having vast experience in the subject of auditing, right? She is also actively involved in taking CP seminars on the topics, code of ethics, standards on auditing, right? She has been chosen thrice by World Economic Forum on scholarship to represent city of Surat in India Economic Summit in 2014 and 17, and annual curator meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. She was also founding team member for various NGOs like TEDx Surat, Mental Health Festival, etc. So not taking much of the time, let her impart her knowledge with all of you, right? So I hope you all will be getting enhanced knowledge, practical knowledge, right? But only one request to all of your dear students, that whenever you are studying the chapter, please understand it thoroughly, prepare your own notes so that at the end you are able to recall the procedures, and in the examination you are able to write also. Right now we are having time so that we can at the inception only start studying, right? So that in the examination, before examination, at least we are having writing practice. Okay, so it's my humble request to all of you that whatever you are learning in the class, in the session, please prepare your own notes and do some writing practice of the questions so that you can understand where we need to improvise further, right? One more thing, don't think auditing is a very difficult subject. Since childhood we are doing audit. So ma'am will be taking you through the journey for the subject. So not taking much of the time. Over to you, Akriti ma'am. Akriti ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. I hope students, you are able to hear me and see me clearly. Can you just quickly let me know that I'm properly audible to you, visible to you, everything is okay? And then we can start. Lohit, yes. Okay, perfect. And we have to maintain this momentum. We have to maintain this interaction throughout the class. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen and then we can start the class. All right. So I hope now my chapter screen is visible to all of you. And without much further ado, I would like to give you a small introduction about a subject that is very, very dear to me, a subject that I really loved since my student days. Okay. So the subject is, of course, auditing and assurance. I have one philosophy for any subject, that the more you give love to the subject will love you back. So if you give fear to the subject, you will always be fearful of the subject. So if you want the subject to reward you, a beautiful subject, a foundation subject of our beloved profession of chartered accountancy is auditing. So the more active response and love we give to this subject, the more the subject will really reward you. And second important thing, that I will be drawing a lot of live notes for you. On the screen, real time, I'll be drawing a lot of notes for you. And I don't want you to take a screenshot of it. I want that as I write, you should also at home later on after watching the video, but you have to write on your own. Recently, a study has been done by top scientists of the world, and they have told that when you do handwritten notes, there is 800% more chances for you to remember the things uh, if you don't write. So if you don't write, the chances are 800% less. So if you want to remember the subject for a longer period of time, so please write your own notes. There is scientific evidence now that proves that when you write on your own, you can do much well. So without much further ado, let's start with the subject. Please sit upright, no lying down, sit upright, keep your notebook, keep your pen in your hand, keep water in your hand, and let's start with the chapter. So first, let's think about the subject itself, okay? What does our subject name is? It says auditing and assurance, okay? Auditing and assurance, but the subject is auditing and ethics. So auditing is with assurance plus ethics, okay? So this assurance word will be covered in this chapter 1 and ethics we will cover later. So I will first focus on the first part of your subject name, that is auditing, which means we have to give assurance. Now, what does this mean, ma'am? I know this is a new subject for you. This you have never studied before intermediate, right? So this is the first time we are studying a subject. So let's understand it this way, okay? Let's say there is a Mr. Don. Okay, our Mr. Don is there. So Mr. Don will be our companion. I will use his name many times for many examples. Okay, so Mr. Don is our companion in this subject. So there is a Mr. Don. Mr. Don goes to a big nice bank. Okay, Mr. Don goes to a big nice bank, and in that bank there are many people. Okay, but there is a main manager. He goes to Mr. Don and he says, goes to the bank and says, sir, I want to expand my beautiful restaurant business. Okay, so Mr. Don is running a restaurant. And Mr. Don says, I am running a very nice, famous restaurant. I want to expand it. I want it to be in North India, in South India, in East India. I want it to be everywhere. So he goes to the bank and says, give me 20 crore rupees. Okay. Mr. Bodon is very humble. He says, I can expand in 20 crore rupees. So he goes to the bank. Bank says, how can you prove that your business is doing very well? So Mr. Don says, here, take my balance sheet, sir. Take my P&L, sir. Here, take it. See, so much profit I am having, so much capital I have invested, so much stock I am having, so much investments I am having. Just see it, sir. But bank says, how do I believe it? How do I trust it? So bank says, how can I trust these figures that you are showing? So Mr. Don says, you can get it checked, sir. Then bank says, okay, let's get it checked from someone. Mr. Don says, my brother does very good accounting. Let him check. So if you are bank, will you give money if Mr. Don's brother checks it? Will you give money if Mr. Don's brother checks it? No. So bank says, we don't want your brother. We want an independent person. Okay. We don't want your brother. We want someone who is independent and someone who is qualified. And that is how our profession comes into existence. Okay. So if we do a little bit of history about our profession, you will see that even in Kautilya's Arthashastra from 14th century BC. Arthashastra means the Shastra of numbers and economics. Okay. So even in Kautilya's Arthashastra, there is a mention that there is a closing period of accounts. There is accounts being maintained of all the expenses being done, all the income being received. And there is also references of that final closing was done, books were closed, and people were shown the results of what the kingdom has spent, how much the palace has spent, how much the king has spent the money. All these things were mentioned in Kautilya's Arthashastra. Imagine 14th century BC. So think of it like that auditing exists since money exists. जब से currency है, जब से पैसा है, तब से auditing है. Because जहां पैसा है वहां auditing होगा. Wherever there is money, wherever there is income, wherever there is expense, there is auditing. There is need for auditing. There is use for auditing. Now what happened? That auditing word comes from Latin word called as audere. Audere. It means to hear. To hear. So what used to happen earlier? Let me tell you a small story. So let's say Bhavani, okay? We have a lot of students here who are listening to me. So I'll keep using your names if you don't mind. So let's say Bhavani is here, okay? So Bhavani is part of a very, very old empire, okay? And now what happens is that time, the Bhavani is what doing that the books and all the accounts are, let's say, written on the palm strips, okay? And someone is reading out to Bhavani. Someone is saying, this much expense, this lamp expenses, this much ghee expenses, this much decoration expenses, this much. And Bhavani is listening to it and saying, oh, why is the expense this much? Why was this expense done like this? Bhavani is listening. And it is being told to Bhavani, and Bhavani is an independent person who's coming and listening to the accounts. And that is the origin word. Audere means to hear, which means an account was read out in public and people used to hear it that what expenses were done. So this is our origin word. Audere means to hear. Okay. Now, if we talk about our country's history, then the first Auditor General of India, the first Auditor General of India was actually appointed by British in British India in 1860. Okay. So this was before our independence. This was the official name given to the primary authority who will audit the empire. Okay. So first Auditor General of India was there. After that, post independence, it became Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Comptroller and Auditor General of India was created, and it was like an independent statutory authority, constitutional authority. We will study about this in one chapter later on, okay? In detail, we will study about Comptroller and Auditor General. And after independence, in 1949, one very special thing happened. What happened? ICAI was established. ICAI was formally established under an Act of Parliament. Under an Act of Parliament. So, what is the brief history of our profession? See, we are a very, very old profession. Since the money has been there, we are there. Okay. So, Kautilya's Arthashastra from 14th century BC has included, even though they did not use the word audit, what they were doing was audit only. Then later on, from Latin word audere, to here, the audit word was taken. Then first Auditor General of India was established in British India in 1860. After that, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, an independent constitutional authority, was established after we received independence from our constitution. And in 1949, ICAI was established, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, under an Act of Parliament. Till now, everyone is with me? Till now, everyone is with me? Now, why these small things are important? They are important because they can come in your MCQs. Okay. So even though a big theory answer can't come, these small things are important because they can come in your MCQ. Okay. So each thing is very, very important if it is being taught in class. Okay. Aditi, you have some doubt? Aditi, you have raised hand. I have just given introduction. I have not done any technical topic till now.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to ask this comptroller and auditor general is appointed by the government for the government audits.
It is appointed by president of our country, which we will study in detail later. But yeah, he's
Oh,
appointed by president of our country.
okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Harshal, you also have some question? Harshal?
यस मैम।
Yes, Harshal.
मुझे पूछना था कि अभी जो
हम्म,
आपने कॉटिलियस से बताया एज ए हिस्ट्री ऑफ ऑडिटिंग,
जी।
सो वहाँ से लेकर टिल द लैटिन ऑडियर टू हेयर,
हम्म,
इतने तक एमसीक्यू में आ सकता है क्या?
नहीं नहीं, जितना मैंने आपको कहा है ना, बस उतनी
फ्रॉम द
बेसिक
फर्स्ट
चीजें
ऑडिटर
याद
जनरल,
रखिए। जी,
फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया ब्रिटिश 1860s फ्रॉम
हाँ,
देयर टू
या
द
आप
1949 आईसी
1960 1949 है आईसीआई का एस्टैब्लिशमेंट।
एस्टेब्लिशमेंट।
हाँ जी, और ब्रिटिश इंडिया में फर्स्ट टाइम जो आप समझ लो कि सीएनडेजी का बड़ा भाई या ओरिजिन, वो फर्स्ट
या
ऑडिटर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया था 1860 में, है ना।
ओके मैम,
और
फ्रॉम
आप ये भी रखना कि
1862 टू
ऑडियर वर्ड,
1920।
ऑडिट वर्ड कहाँ से आता है? लैटिन वर्ड से आता है ना।
या
ये सब बुक में है, मैं कुछ भी आउट ऑफ सिलेबस नहीं करवा रही हूँ, सब बुक में है।
ओके मैम, ओके,
यस।
आई नोटेड।
So what my style is that instead of reading from the book, ठीक है, बुक तो हमारे सबके पास ही है,
या
मैं
मैम,
वही चीज जो आपको बुक में पढ़ाने के बजाय मैं लिख लिख कर समझाती हूँ, है ना।
यस मैम,
That is just my style. Okay. So instead
ओके
of reading, just reading on, I don't like. So I just prefer
मैम।
that I write. Imagine your school classrooms, blackboards. So this is my blackboard, what you are
When
seeing.
we're studying, then we're writing with you
You
as a
can do two
notebook.
things. You can do two things. So if you feel that अगर आप मेरे साथ साथ लिखते हैं तो you miss out on the lecture. So right now you can listen to the lecture and later on this video is posted, right? That time you can
Yes.
just make the notes. Or if you want to make notes along with me, that is perfectly your decision, okay? So
Yeah,
you
this is
can
the
take decision
preferred format.
accordingly. Yes.
Making notes with you.
Yes. So it is your decision that you want to write along with, and you can still concentrate on what I say, or you can do later on. Okay. So it
Okay, ma'am.
depends on
Thank you.
your own comfort level.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else other question? I think we're done. Okay. So this is just an introduction. Manisha. Yes, Manisha. Manisha, you have some question? Manisha Prajapat. Hello. I can't hear you, Manisha, if you're speaking something. Hello. मनीषा just try sending in the chat because आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है अगर आप बोल रहे हैं तो. All right. So this is just the basic. You don't have to exact copy paste. You can even underline the important things I'm saying. You can keep some post-it notes with you. And for example, suppose you have a post-it note, okay? So what you can do is you can convert this whole paragraph in short in these 4 points. And then you can just stick it on the book. See, your book is your Bible, Quran, Gita, whatever. Okay. Nothing is beyond study material. But why do we make these small notes? So that it can help during revision. But when we are studying for the first time, second time, that time you have to study the whole book, because audit is not just an MCQ exam. You have to write answers, right? You have to write paragraphs. So we must learn how to write. And to be able to learn how to write, you must first read everything. So that is why don't just rely on shortcuts. Okay. Ma'am, I was asking if you will provide whatever you are writing. Yes. So once the chapter is over, you will receive the whole written notes of me as PDF. Once the chapter is over. Is that clear, Manisha? Ma'am, what is the meaning of comptroller? Someone who has, so basically, Auditor, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Comptroller means someone who has the adequate mechanism to understand the accounts and then audit it. Okay. WhatsApp link has been posted. You can just join. Manish ji has posted. Can I proceed further now? Manisha, your doubt is solved. Okay. All right. So this is just the basic introduction. Now, let's come to see one of the most important things. Whenever you study something new, what happens? What comes? Definition. Yes or no? Whenever new words come, whenever new topics come, what comes with it? Definition, yes or no? How many of you like learning definition? How many of you like learning definition? No, ma'am, no. Okay. Not me. All right. So many people are saying, no, ma'am, we don't enjoy definition. But if we learn the definition in correct way, you will not have a problem. So today I'll show you a small example. So in our book, there is a definition. Definitions are very important. They give a structure to a very vast topic. So a topic can be explained by multiple people in multiple ways. Definition gives a structure to it. Now let's see how to remember this structure. Okay. So audit. Audit pehle to, what is it? Okay. Audit means what is it? So audit, checking hai, right? We are checking something. So what is a better word for it? So it's called, audit is an examination. Audit kya hai? Examination hai. Check karna. Okay. Audit is an examination. But can my brother check my accounts and audit it? Can my brother check my accounts and audit it? Can you check your parents' account and audit it and give audit report? No. So audit is an independent examination. Okay. Audit is an independent examination. But किस चीज का independent examination? What of what? Independent examination of what? Of everything? I will check HR policies also. I'll check isko promotion diya, isko promotion kyun nahi diya. I'll check all that. That is auditing. Audit is independent examination of financial information. Audit is an independent examination of financial information. Why financial information? Because books of accounts may not include notes. So I cannot write notes. But is notes contingent liability also part of financial information? Do we have to audit that also? Contingent liability is also important thing to check, right? So can we write just books of accounts? Are we auditing just books of accounts? No. We are checking financial information. And that is why in audit, the words are very important. If you use incorrect, inappropriate word, the whole meaning can change. Okay, so we have to be very careful that we are using the correct terminology to explain. So audit is an independent examination. Kis cheez ki? Of what? Financial information. Kiski? Whose? Whose financial information? Mine? Yours? Whose financial information? Company? Can I write company? Financial information of a company? Can I write financial information of a company? So if I write company, does it mean that proprietorship will not get audited? Does it mean proprietorship will not get audited? Partnership will not get audited? Only company will get audited? So is company the right word? Financial information of a company, if I write, is it right word? No. So financial information, so we will write a neutral word. What is that neutral word? Of an entity. Okay. of an entity. Now you understand logic in definition? You understanding logic? हर word का एक purpose है. Every word has a purpose. So financial information of an entity. Which kind of entity? Which entity? So if I'm running an NGO, suppose I'm running an NGO called CRY or Save the Child. So does my NGO needs to get audited? Suppose Divya, Pragati, Khushi has given lot of donation to my NGO. Does it needs to get audited? So does it mean that only profit companies will get audited? No. So whether profit oriented or not. Okay. Now only big companies will get audited. Small companies, small businesses will not get audited. Only big, large size IPO wali companies and all only will get audited? No. Irrespective of its size or legal form. So partnership can also get audited. A proprietorship can also get audited. A cooperative can also get audited. A company can also get audited. An LLP also can get audited. So irrespective of its size or legal form, you can get audited. So audit what? Independent examination. Kiski independent examination of what? Of financial information. Kiski financial information? Whose financial information? Of an entity. Which kind of entity? Which kind of entity? Whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form. ये सब तो ठीक है, all this is okay. But why? Why is auditing being done? Why am I doing independent examination of financial information of an entity? Why am I doing all this? With a view to express an opinion. Why am I doing the work? With a view to express an opinion. So now look at your book. Look at your book and see the definition. Audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form, when such an examination is conducted with a view to expressing an opinion thereon. हो गई definition. Do you think you can remember? Do you think you can remember now? Is it tough? Done right? Ma'am, your screen is not fully visible. Is it so? My screen is not visible? It's visible, ma'am. Okay, okay. So now this definition, we should remember even if we are in sleep. Anyone, anytime should be able to write auditing definition. Can all my students write auditing definition anytime, any place? Okay, this is 2 marks guaranteed if it comes in exam. Okay, so let's, जैसे मैं बोल रही हूँ, the way I'm speaking, at your home, you speak it, okay? Audit is what? Independent examination. Of what? Of financial information. Whose financial information? Of any entity. Which kind of entity? Whether profit-oriented or not, irrespective of its size or legal form. Why? With a view to expressing an opinion thereon. That's it. Now we have seen a lot of new words in this, okay? Okay? So that we have to understand in detail. All right? So this is just an introduction. This you see in the blue box. This is just for reading, okay? Only for reading this is. Only for reading. So this is not for learning. Now here, whatever you have to learn, I have made you understand. 4th century BC, audit originates from Auditor. Then first Auditor General of India in 1860. Then later on, C&AG was created, which is an independent constitutional authority. And ICAI was established as statutory body in 1949. Okay. Okay. Now, if you will see this, they will explain the meaning of each word. So this is your definition and star mark it. Okay. Whenever I make you star mark, you have to mark it properly in your book. See, I'll tell you one important thing. Since this is our first lecture, I have to give you a lot of examples. Okay, that is why many times it will happen that I am saying something, book is there, but I have to give you extra information because this is your first chapter. So in auditing, what we have to do, we have to prepare ourselves that we understand, plus we are able to revise before the exam. Okay, so we have, for that, we have to do markings in our book properly. Why? Because after reading 2-3 times, you know what the whole chapter is about. Then you have to keep revising the keywords. So in auditing, I will always give you and make you underline something called as keywords. Okay, keywords. Now these keywords are very important, which means I don't have to write exact copy paste, but I cannot change any keyword. Okay. So a lot of students many times say that, ma'am, matlab to same tha na, it meant the same, that why I didn't get marks. See, each profession has a language. Har profession ka ek language hota hai. ठीक है? What does it mean? If I go to a doctor, so I am a patient and I will tell the doctor, doctor, there is pain in my stomach. But when a doctor will write report, or when a doctor will talk to another doctor, they'll say that the patient is complaining of an acute abdominal pain on the right side. Same cheese, pet mein dard hai, sir. But how will the doctor talk? How will the doctor report it? That the patient is complaining about an acute abdominal pain on the right side, on the lower part. Same cheese. Same way in auditing. As auditors, we have a way of writing. We have a way of reporting. We have a language. And in auditing subject, by understanding the keywords, you can understand how we think as an auditor, how we report like an auditor. And that is why language is very important. Okay. So now the first important word is independent, right? So independent will come in lot of details later on. Okay. Very detailed independent word will come on, but I'll give you some basic examples here. Okay. So just look at my screen now. Okay, so what does independence mean? Again, we have to explain it professionally. All of you are studying a professional course. So we have to explain it very professionally, dignified way. We are not layman. We are professionals. So what does independence mean? Independence means that judgment of a person is not subordinate to wishes or direction of any other person. Which person? Who might have engaged him? Who might have engaged him? Now, what does this mean? What does independence mean? Okay. So independence means that, let's say that if my own father tells me that, beta, please audit my accounts. I'm running this business. I want to get a good loan. Please audit it. Do you think that my judgment is not dependent on my father's wishes? Do you think my father wishes that I give a good report, right? So that he can get loan. Do you think I will be able to be independent without any influence of my father. Even if my father says you do whatever is correct, but still will I be able to give a report that is adverse? See, ours is one of the very unique profession. It means that the person who hire us, the person who pays us fees, we cannot defend them. Ours is the only profession. It is so unique. It is so beautiful part about our profession that we are only accountable to public. Even if my client gives me fees, I have to give a correct audit report. So if Gayatri is paying me fees to audit her company, and I feel that the company is not showing their books of accounts correctly, even though I have to take fees from Gayatri, am I in service of Gayatri? No, I am in service of public. So even if Gayatri is paying me, Gayatri is my client, I have to give an independent report. So ours is a very beautiful, unique profession that we have to be independent of our own client. We cannot take favor of our own client. So here, independence simply means that judgment of a person is not subordinate. Subordinate means underneath. I am not underneath the wishes or direction by any other person who might have engaged it. So this you need to remember, that independence means without influence. Independence means without influence. It also means to act objectively. To act objectively, which means no bias. It means to act objectively without any bias. Okay, Aditi has some question. Yes, Aditi, please ask your question. Aditi? Aditi has a question. Harshal has a question. Pragati has
Yes,
a
ma'am. Ma'am,
question.
actually, I was unmute and I was not able to. Sorry, I was on mute. I was not able to unmute myself. That's why.
Okay. Tell me, Aditi.
Yeah. Ma'am, actually, I just wanted to know that the subordinate here, it means the judgment of a auditor should not be dependent on the wishes or direction of
Yes.
the another.
Yes.
So
But
dependent
here
is the
using the
like
word
we can use.
subordinate, it means you're not
Okay.
underneath. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Got it.
Yes, Harshal. हर्षल पूछिए.
हेलो मैम.
हाँ. यस.
मुझे पूछना था मैम, फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे आपने बताया कि एज अ ऑडिट करना ऑफ अ फादर टू यू एज अ प्रोफेशन, so that is not possible due to the independence.
Yeah.
It is a judgment of a person. So in how do you view to the bias word in a auditing is like equal to judgment or not?
Sorry, what?
How do you see the word bias in a auditing language? Is it equal to the judgment
No.
word?
No, it's not the same. So it means that first the word judgment here is being used in terms of that when I am taking a decision that how much I will check, what process I'll use, what opinion I'll give, that is called as judgment. So we will study in audit. Now I've just given you introduction. We will study processes of audit. How do we get evidence? How do we get sampling? So at each stage, auditor has to use his judgment. So here, that is what the judgment means. So when you're doing audit, during the process of audit, the judgments you are taking, that is not subordinate. Okay. And the
Okay.
bias means that when you are drawing conclusions from the sample, which means suppose I am going with the bias, ये तो खराब ही काम करेंगे या ये तो अच्छा ही काम करेंगे. That is called as biasness. वो नहीं होना चाहिए.
Understood.
Yes, Pragati. Maithili is asking bias means किसी तरीके का भेदभाव, means having discrimination. That is called as bias, Maithili. Okay. Yes, Pragati. Ask your question, Pragati Chaudhary. Pragati Chaudhary, do you have the question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you have told that independence means without influence and act objectively. Can you explain this point?
It means that same thing that I mentioned here, it is multiple different keywords to explain the same thing. First thing, it means that for me to be independent, I cannot be dependent on someone else's wishes. So this point. Without influence means that person cannot put any pressure, positive or negative, on me to decide what opinion I'll give. And act objectively means I also, even if that person is not putting pressure on me, I also cannot have my own bias, bhedbhav, towards them when I do the work. तो वो भी उस पोजीशन में नहीं होने चाहिए कि वो मेरे साथ में या मेरे को दबाव दे सके या मेरे को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सके, और मुझ में भी वो बायस नहीं होना चाहिए उनकी तरफ कि ये तो ऐसे ही है, ये तो ऐसे ही करेंगे, ये लोग तो ऐसे ही होते हैं. ऐसा मेरे में बायस होगा तो मैं अच्छे से ऑडिट नहीं कर पाऊंगी. सब एक ही तरफ बात करते हैं कि हमें इंडिपेंडेंट होना है. हम इंडिपेंडेंट कब होंगे? जब हम खुद जजमेंट ले सके, जब किसी का हम पे ज्यादा प्रभाव ना हो, और जब हमें किसी चीज की भेदभाव ना हो. समझ गए आप मनीषा?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
यस यस.
मैम तो मतलब रिलेटेड पार्टीज एक दूसरे की ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते, फॉर एग्जांपल नहीं कर सकते, अलाउ नहीं है बिल्कुल.
तो
ओके मैम.
बेसिकली हम जो अभी पढ़ रहे हैं ये एथिक्स है, राइट? अब क्या होता है कि हर लॉ लीगैलिटी और नॉन लीगैलिटी डिसाइड करता है. इसका मतलब मैं आपको समझाऊंगी. एवरीवन, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन, ओके, जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दिस. सो शी सेड I cannot audit my related party, madam. So this is a general rule, yeah, ethical rule, that you should not audit if you are not independent. Okay, this is a general ethical rule for me. But the Companies Act has its own section that says that if you are a shareholder, you cannot audit. If you have taken money or loan from the company, you can't audit. If you are a related business party, you cannot audit. If you are a director, you can't audit. So each law can create its own sub rules which we have to follow. Okay. But there are many things that cannot be covered in law. For example, let's say Anjum and Maithili are best friends. Let's say, okay, Maithili and Anjum have grown up together. They are childhood best friends. Anjum has become a businesswoman. Maithili has become a CA. Anjum is running a very successful business. She's saying, Maithili, you do my audit. Now you tell me, best friends, are they related parties? Are they relatives? Are best friends relatives? But do you think that Maithili will be independent ethically? Do you think Maithili will be able to give actual true report? So what we are studying is even beyond law. It means ICAI, our institute, is trying to tell you that when I tell you that you need to be independent, you don't just have to see whether I am legally independent or not legally independent. You have to intrinsically see that am I in my heart, in my mind, in the eyes of other people, am I independent? So what we are studying is even beyond law. But law tries to make certain rules so that independence can be followed. Is that clear now, Manisha?
Yes, ma'am. One more question.
Hmm.
बुक में कोई डेफिनेशन दे रखी है या फिर कोई लिस्ट दे रखी है सर्टेन पीपल की कि ये नहीं कर सकते एक दूसरे की ऑडिट?
Yes, you will study that in company audit.
Okay, ma'am.
You are going to study that.
Yeah, ma'am. Clear.
So that's why I said now we have studied only 2 pages. So this is an introduction, right? So Gayatri's asked, so if I own an auditing firm, I cannot audit my own books. Yes. So if I own a CA practice, another CA will audit my books. Okay. I know it's a lame question, but how do I know that? See, I am not teaching you how will court prove it. मैं आपको ये नहीं सिखाऊंगी कि आप पकड़े कैसे जाओगे. मैं आपको ये बता रही हूँ कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. आप ये नहीं पूछोगे कि मैं पकड़े कैसे जाऊंगा, ये प्रूफ कैसे होगा? प्रूफ कैसे होगा वो मेरा काम नहीं है। मेरा काम है आपको ये सिखाना कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए और आपको क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। करेक्ट? आप क्या कर सकते हैं, आपसे क्या एक्सपेक्टेड है, वो चीज हम सीखेंगे। वो प्रूफ कैसे होगा, वो फॉरेंसिक एविडेंस, वो कोर्ट मैटर है। ओके? एनी अदर? हर्षल, वन मोर क्वेश्चन यू हैव? हर्षल?
Hello, ma'am.
हाँ हर्षल बोलिए। यस
हाँ
हर्षल।
मैम, I have not a question, but in actually I added in your thought as a that is why the subject name as a auditing and ethics. Ethics means is that
Exactly.
what you said in
Exactly.
the previous
Exactly.
sentence.
Exactly. So we are not studying law. Law you are studying separately as a separate subject. We are studying how I should be. If I am a chartered accountant, what should my nature be? What should my ethics be? How can I be a
Yes,
best auditor? How can I give an audit opinion that other people can trust?
yes, so that is why.
Yeah. Okay. Lohit, you have some question? Please ask.
Uh, Yes, ma'am, it is that independence. I understood the meaning, what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, there is no bias, I'm not related to anybody. But the words you have written, a judgment of a person, not subordinate, I'm not able to phrase it out. Like,
Yeah, it's a little technical. I understand that. So it's a very technical definition. It simply means, understand it this way, okay? Let's say all of you are asking me question, right? And I have to take the call that I will answer your question or I will ignore your question. So when I'm taking that judgment, okay, I'm taking that judgment, I am not taking anyone else's commands. इसका क्वेश्चन लेना, इसका मत क्वेश्चन लेना, ये क्वेश्चन बहुत पूछता है, इसको इग्नोर करना, ये हर क्लास में परेशान करता है, मैम इसको क्वेश्चन मत लेना। अगर कोई मुझे ऐसी डायरेक्शंस देगा तो क्या मेरा जजमेंट इंडिपेंडेंट होगा कि किसका क्वेश्चन लेना है, किसका क्वेश्चन नहीं लेना है?
No.
No. Why? Because I'm following someone else's direction. So I am subordinate to someone else's wishes. Now did you understand? So independence means my judgment is dependent on the wishes of someone else. So if my judgment is dependent on wishes or rules and orders or directions of someone else, then I'm not independent. Simple. Is that clear? Lohit. Okay. Akila, you can ask your question. Akila? You have to unmute. Akila ko unmute tech team. You are not able to unmute. Akila ko unmute karna hai. She has raised hand.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes, Akila, good evening.
Ma'am, after auditing, the auditor will make audit for an client's. Sure, the tax should be reduced for an auditing. For a client, what you will pay? What the tax that a client pay? The auditor should reduce the tax. It's the main intention of auditor.
No,
Then
no.
it's become a bias, no, ma'am.
No. That is why I said we don't work for the client. We are the very unique profession. So my job is not to decrease or increase. Okay, my job is not to decrease or increase. My job is to see what you have calculated, because our taxes are self-assessment tax. A company and individual has to calculate their own taxes. My job is to see that whatever you have shown is correct. So my job is not to reduce your taxes. There's a difference between tax planning. Tax planning cannot be done when the accounts are finalized. Tax planning is done throughout the year. So they can take my advice on tax planning. But if I am their auditor, then I will just check that whether whatever they are showing in their balance sheet P&L is appropriate or not. I will not tell them how to reduce or why to reduce, or I don't do that. Okay. As an auditor,
ma'am.
in practical, you can't do that, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I think all questions are done. Okay, can I move ahead? So independence is clear to everyone. Very, very important, okay? So if I have invested in a shares of a company, can I be its auditor? If I'm the shareholder, can I be the auditor? Because I want the company to be in profit only, then I will hide if company is in loss, right? So I cannot be the auditor. That's it. That is all given in your book. So let's come to the book now. All important words I have already written when I'm writing, okay? So independence simply means that judgment is not subordinate to wishes or direction of another person who might have engaged him. Then there should not be any influence. You should act objectively without any biases, okay? If my wife owned shares of a company in last financial year, can I audit this financial year? So you are asking me questions that is of chapter 10 in law. You are going to study it, Santosh. But just because I know I can answer you, but you'll study this. So as on the date of appointment, there should be no shareholding. Okay. If you hold it before, but it is sold before the appointment date, you can become the auditor. Is that clear? You are going to study a full chapter on this, okay? It's not going to be answered just like that. There are many ifs and buts and long list. So you will study all this later on. This is just introduction. Santosh, your doubt is cleared? Ma'am, if we are having shares for government hotels and working with, so we cannot do audits. Government companies, government hotels, all this you will study. There's a limit. So all that you will study later on. Okay. Let's focus on the topic now. All right. So all these examples I have already covered up. Then the entity whose financial statements, I'm very excited. I'm very happy that you are all so excited. But now I'll be taking any doubt after towards the last 15 minutes. Is that okay? So that I can cover a little bit more now. Okay. So in the last 15 minutes, you just note down all your doubts and then together you can ask me everything. Okay. Now, the entity whose financial information is examined need not be profit oriented. I have already taught you. It can be a non-profit like NGO. Then it can be a small, medium or large organization. It can be an LLP, it can be a proprietor, it can be partnership, it can be private, it can be public company, it can be society, it can be trust. And the purpose of audit is to express an opinion. That's it. Okay. So this part is fully done. Okay, now if we'll see the next topic, you will see a long list. Now we have to learn this list. We have to write an exam. Let's find a way to learn this nicely and understand it. So, when an auditor is auditing financial statements, okay, when you are auditing any financial statements, it should not mislead anybody. It should not mislead anybody, right? And auditor would ensure this by doing what? So we have to ensure that financial statement should not mislead anybody. That's my job. But how would I ensure this? So this is just giving a brief. You will study this in the whole auditing for 11 chapters. But this is just a brief that how do I ensure? First, just listen to me. Don't look at the book. Okay. First, just listen to me. What does it say? First, I have to see that books of accounts has been made in accordance with journal entries. Yes or no? Books of accounts should be made So if you are making any kind of ledgers, it should be drawn as per the journal entries. Okay. Now this journal entries should have some evidence. Okay. To put any journal entry, I should have bill, I should have voucher. Yes or no? So there should be evidence to support these journal entries. Now, none of these entries should have any omission or anything extra. It means if there are total 100 petrol bills, then all 100 journal entries should be there. Not 99, not 98, not 101, not 105. So, auditor has to see that books of accounts is drawn in reference with entries. Entries are properly supported by evidence. Evidence are nothing has been omitted and nothing extra is there. Okay. This all we will see. Then after this, financial statements will be prepared. Your final balance sheet, P&L, and they should be very, very clear and unambiguous. Clear and unambiguous. Clear and unambiguous means ये painting तो है नहीं. Balance sheet is not a painting that Harshal will see a duck and Karan will see a lion in it. Everyone should see duck as duck only. If it's lion, everyone should see lion only. It's not an art. So when you draw a financial statement, there should be only one interpretation. Do you understand it? ऐसा नहीं है कि नवनीत का इंटरप्रिटेशन कुछ अलग होगा, अंजुम का इंटरप्रिटेशन अलग होगा, ऐसा नहीं. So it should, whatever financial statement is writing and showing, it should be clear and unambiguous. How can it anything be clear and unambiguous? When it is properly classified, when it is properly described, and it is properly disclosed. What does it mean? It's properly classified, properly described. Can I put sundry creditors in unsecured loans? Can I show sundry creditors in unsecured loans? दोनों में पैसा देना ही है ना? Both are liability only. But sundry creditors is sundry creditors. Unsecured loan is unsecured loan. Can I interchange them? Can I interchange them? No. So if there is a balance sheet, okay? If there is a balance sheet and David wants to invest money, David is saying, I have a lot of savings, madam. I want to invest in some company, okay? So David sees cash and cash equivalents, and he sees that cash and cash equivalents are 3 lakh rupees, okay? And he sees current liabilities. Let's say current liabilities, current creditors are 1.5 lakh. Does company have liquidity? Does company have liquidity? Basic liquidity is there in the company to pay off their immediate liability. Okay. But afterwards, the auditor has given comment that there is unsecured loan of, let's say, 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. But they are actually current liabilities and they have wrongly classified it as unsecured loans. Which means, how much is the current liability actually? Current liability, what is being shown? 1.5 lakhs. Unsecured loan is being shown as 10 lakhs. But now, the auditor, by checking the nature of transactions, has come to know this is actually current liability, madam. They have wrongly shown as unsecured loans. So what is the total current liability now? 11,50,000. And how much cash is there? 3 lakh. Will David invest in this company? Will David invest? Now, if I do wrong classification of something, does it affect profit and tax? Tell me quickly. P&L पे कोई फर्क पड़ा ये wrong classification करने का? Did this wrong classification have any effect on P&L? Is the balance sheet tallying? Is the balance sheet tallying? Will the balance sheet tally? Balance sheet will tally. But what is something wrong here? Wrong classification. Does it mean that even if profit is correct, even if tax paid is correct, still the balance sheet is showing wrong view? Is it possible? P&L is correct, balance sheet is tallying, tax paid is correct, profit is correct, everything is correct. But they have just done wrong classification. Can people do fraud by doing wrong classification? See? So does it mean that as an auditor, we just check profit? We just check tax calculation? Tax calculation sahi hai, matlab sab sahi hai. If tax calculation is right, means everything is right. So as an auditor, when we have to see that it is not misleading anybody, if I have to see that it is not misleading anybody, it means I also have to see that classification is correct. Everyone clear? You are learning small points of audit through examples. We are not just checking the numbers. We are checking everything that is financial information. That is why information can include classification, correct hai ki nahi? Okay. So we have to check classification also. And at the end, auditor has to ensure that a statement of accounts and operational results show true and fair picture. Now see the answer, okay? As an auditor, I want to ensure that financial statements are not misleading anybody. To ensure this, auditor has to do what? Books of accounts must be drawn up in reference to journal entries. Journal entries should be properly supported by sufficient and appropriate evidence. It means nothing should be omitted, nothing should be found that is not there. Then, financial statement information should be clear and unambiguous. How can it be clear and unambiguous? When it is classified, described, and disclosed properly. And what happens when it is all disclosed? It means auditor has to ensure that statement of accounts and operational results are showing true and fair picture. And now if you see your book, these are the 6 points. Can everyone see now? Okay. Who prepares financial statement? I prepare it. I have to do the accounting, or the management has to, or the company has to prepare the accounts. Management has to prepare the accounts. I am just checking it. I am doing the examination. Okay. So, auditor has to see that financial information would not mislead anybody by ensuring that accounts have been drawn up in reference to entries in books of accounts. Entries in books of, entries in books of accounts are properly, adequately supported by sufficient and appropriate evidence. None of the entries have been omitted in the process of compilation. Information by statements is clear and unambiguous. Financial statement is properly classified, described, and disclosed as per accounting standards. And statement of account gives a true and fair picture of operational results and assets and liabilities. Can you remember these 6 points? Okay. Remember, along with definition of audit. So this can come as a total question, okay? So write down the definition of audit and how does the auditor ensure that the accounts will not mislead anybody. So this can come as a together question. So please remember. Agar question 4 mark ka hai, if the question is for 4 marks, will you write only 4 points or will you write all 6 points? If the question is only for 4 marks, will you write all 6 points or only 4 points? All 6. Very good. Please remember all this. You have to complete the answer. That's it. Now, just a few keywords here. ये अलग से कोई answer नहीं है. This is not an answer, but this can be used as a language in any other case study type of questions, which will come later on. So auditing gives assurance, which means trust, भरोसा, confidence. So किसी CA ने sign किया है तो देख कर ही किया होगा. If some CA has signed, he must have checked properly. So auditing gives assurance. So assurance gives confidence. Then it gives credibility. Okay? It means financial statements can be relied upon. Just remember these few words here and there. Auditing gives assurance, assurance gives confidence, and it builds credibility. Okay? That's it. Everyone is clear till now? Next topic I'll take. Okay. Information can be relied upon. It's given here. That financial information in statements can be relied upon. Okay? Okay. All right. Next topic. Pay attention here. Let's say Prajyot and Lohit become CAs. Okay? They're fully become CAs now. Okay? Now they have gone to a company to go for their first audit. They're very happy. So Prajyot and Lohit are very happy. They have gone to a company and immediately it's a manufacturing company. Okay. So Prajyot and Lohit see closing stock in it. Closing stock they see. Okay. And there's a lot of GST related entries. Prajyot is saying, oh, mera auditing theory is very strong, but I don't remember AS2 and closing stock ki accounting properly. And Lohit says, my GST was very weak, but my auditing is very strong. Can I do audit if I don't know GST? Can I do audit if I don't know GST? Can I do audit if I don't know accounting standards? Can I be a good auditor if I don't know accounting standards? Okay. Now, what did I tell you? Who do we get all this information from? So as an auditor, we have to get all information from client. Client gives us all information. Right or wrong? Okay, client gives us all information. Now client knows that I have come to check their work only. They know that I have to be alert with auditor. This fellow will report anything, right? So client is also alert. Client is paying me money, but client is also alert. So I should have this art, this personality, some knowledge on how to ask questions, yes or no? If मैं बहुत bossy, hey, give me this information, give me this information. Hey, you have to give me. If I talk to them like this, will they give me any information correctly? Can I go to their house, log them and get information from them? Can auditor do that? So I have to get information from them with consent only. I have to get information from them with their consent only. So as an auditor, I must have some basic knowledge about how to behave with people, to use psychology correctly and to ask questions, yes or no? So even if I am very robotically very good, I have all standards I have ratified, all GST I have ratified, everything is like robot, every law is in my brain, but I don't know how to talk to people and get information. Any use? Any use? No. Next, suppose you're auditor of a big company like Amazon or Flipkart or Nykaa. So many transactions happen in one day, right? Lakhs and crores of transactions happen. Can I check each and everything? Can I check each and every toothbrush that is sold on Amazon? Can I check each and every hair clip sold on Amazon? No. Which means auditor also need to know statistics. Why do I need to know statistics? So that I can draw the sample properly. Understood? Now, one more thing. Let's say I am auditing a textile company for the first time. Okay. That textile company, what it does, it buys this big yarn. It buys this big yarn and makes dress material cuts out of it. Okay. It makes dress material cuts. So here and there, small pieces are there. Here and there, small pieces get remained. Okay. Like this. So if I go to audit a textile company and I see just sale of dress material, they are manufacturing, okay? I just see sale of dress material. Can anyone tell me what sale is missing in it? Only dress material sold is there. Scrap sale. So where I used to stay, we used to call this chindi sale. It means every manufacturer will, if you are in textile and if you are doing textile manufacturing, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. It's not possible that in your P&L account there is no scrap sale. There will be scrap sale. But if I don't have this knowledge that in textile company there should be scrap sale, and if there is no scrap sale in books of accounts, will I raise a question? मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि स्क्रैप जैसा कुछ होता है. मैंने सिर्फ वाउचर, I just saw the voucher, I matched the voucher with P&L, okay, everything okay. Will I raise the question, oh, why there is no scrap sale? What happened to your scrap? No. So, business knowledge. Can I audit without having basic business knowledge? Can I audit a business without knowing the business? That is why CAs can be very good entrepreneurs. Because to be able to be a good auditor, you need to understand the business very nicely. Okay. So now see this, the next topic. I have just explained you the topic, okay? Interdisciplinary nature of auditing with other subjects, which means audit is like the planet sun and all other subjects are part of the universe. Okay? And together they make our universe. Together they make our whole universe. सबके साथ मिलके काम करना पड़ता है. If you want to be a good auditor, you must have decent knowledge about many other subjects. So what are those subjects? Okay. So come here. Accounting. If I don't know accounting, can I be a good auditor? Of course not. So auditor reviews the financial statements, which means you should understand accounting. Okay. Auditing and law. Should I know the corporate law? Should I know the company law, basic company law? Yes. Should I know income tax law? Yes. Should I know Partnership Act? Should I know LLP Act? Yes. So you should have good knowledge of basic business laws that affect the entity. Economics. You should have basic understanding of how the overall environmental works. So this I am not marking as a very, very important topic. This is mostly for your understanding, and somewhere here and there it might come in MCQ. Okay. Did I mark triple star here? See, it may not be very directly question related, but is it important to understand this? क्या ये समझना जरूरी है हमारी जर्नी में, एज अ ऑडिटर बनने की जर्नी में? यस. ओके. So next is behavior science. Basic knowledge of human behavior is very important so that I can effectively do my work. Okay, discharge my duties means do my work. You should have basic knowledge about statistics and mathematics because you have to do sampling, you have to do inventory verification, so you might have to do basic valuation. Then you should have basic knowledge about data processing. EDP means electronic data processing. So if I'm auditor of a company like Amazon, Do you think मैं manually बैठ के voucher I'll check, or do you think I should understand the system? System समझ में आना चाहिए. I should understand the system. So that is electronic data processing. We will study this slowly and slowly. Everything will come in our syllabus. Statistics, sampling, we will study in essay number 530. Data processing, you will study in risk assessment. So all of this will slowly be covered in different chapters. Auditing and financial management. So if I want to understand a company, I should be able to understand working capital, funds flow, ratio analysis, capital budgeting. This you will study in FM subject. And auditing and production, I should understand basic costing, marketing, production. Why? So that I can know normal cost and abnormal cost. Everyone knows what is normal cost and abnormal cost? Normal wastage, abnormal wastage. So all that I should be able to understand so that I can understand the financial statements. So here I'm not telling you to memorize this like a list, but just remember that as an auditor, we have relationship with accounting also, with law also, with economics also, with behavior science, with stats, with data processing, with FM, with production. These are basically all your subject names. This is costing, this is FM, this is law, this is eco, this is statistics, all foundation subjects also. This you will study in auditing itself, okay? That's it. So this part is clear. We are moving on to the next topic now. Next topic is very, very important. Ma'am, can we take a break? Yes, Aditi, ask your question. After Aditi's question, let's take a break for 10 minutes, okay?
Ma'am, what's the meaning of EDP and what's the full form of that?
Electronic data processing, which means when huge number of information is not processed manually, but it is processed by using a computer. That is called as EDP. So as an auditor, I must understand computer systems also so that I can do good job as an auditor. This we will study in bank audit also. This we will study in risk assessment also. Okay. Electronic data processing. Is your doubt solved? Okay. All right. Manish ji, we'll take a 10-minute break now. David, they sent the link. If you scroll up, they have already sent the link to Telegram group. Manish ji, बार-बार ये बच्चे पूछ रहे हैं group का link के बारे में. हाँ. So again, he has sent now. So please save it. And now we are going on 10 minutes break, Manish ji. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, students, we are back from the break. I hope you are all also back. You have taken your break now. Can we restart the class? We are going to a very, very important topic now. All right. Okay, everyone is back now. So, before I start the next topic, that is objective of audit, first we need to understand some words. Because if we don't understand those words, you will not understand the objective. Okay. So let's go on these words one by one. Okay. So let's go with the first word that I'm going to tell you. The first word is misstatement. Okay. So as an auditor, usually when I'm auditing, my job is to see if there are any misstatements in financial statement as a whole. Now, what does misstatement mean? The definition will come much later. I don't want to do the definition. Just samjho, just understand. Misstatement means difference between, this is not to write, this is just to make you understand. Difference between what is and what should be. It means जो है और जो होना चाहिए उसके बीच के डिफरेंस को मिसस्टेटमेंट बोला जाता है. It means what is and what should be. The difference between them is called a misstatement. Everyone is clear? It means the depreciation is 2,70,000, but it should be 3,50,000. That is a misstatement. This should be current liabilities, but it is shown in unsecured loan. So that is a misstatement. The let's say provision for bad and doubtful debt should be 5%, but it is being shown at 2%. What is that? A misstatement. Everyone is clear what is a misstatement? So difference between what is and what should be. क्या है और क्या होना चाहिए, उसके difference को कहते हैं misstatement. Now, ये difference, this misstatement can be big also and small also. Suppose my company, I am running a company. There are many people who take bus and auto, and I missed out a bill of 5 rupees. So it should be 2,000 rupees, but I have written 1,995 rupees. Is that a misstatement? Is it a misstatement? It should be 2,000, but I have written 1,995. But is it such an important misstatement that you will say that the P&L is wrong, balance sheet is wrong, the company is doing all wrong work, everything is wrong in the company? No. So as an auditor, is it enough that we just see misstatement? No. We have to, after finding misstatement, you have to see if it is material or not. Material means, is it important enough? Is it important enough that it can affect the whole financial statement? So as an auditor, we have to see whether misstatement is material or not. As an auditor, that's my job. Now, misstatement can be due to fraud or error. Okay? ये जो चाय का bill है, this tea bill, if it is 20,000 rupees, but it should be 21,000 rupees. So this wrong has happened because some bill went missing, or someone purposefully, intentionally was hiding 1,000 rupees. That is second level. First we find misstatement, then we see if it's material or not, and then we see whether it was because of fraud or because of error. Everyone clear till now? So now we will see this word being used very repetitively. It's like language of audit. मैंने आपको कहा ना starting में, we have to learn the language, how we write and think in auditing. So as an auditor, my job is to see that whether any material misstatement in financial statement as a whole is there or not due to fraud or error. This much is clear. So this word is clear. Now next word is assurance. Next important keyword that we need to learn is assurance. So let's imagine this is a line. This is the starting point. This is the end point. Okay. If there is no audit done, so there is no assurance, yes or no? If there is no audit done, there is no assurance that this P&L is correct or not correct, yes or no? Let's say that Rashmi Kumari, one of our student, gave me her audit. She's running a big successful business now, okay? So she has given me a good books of accounts that, madam, please audit it. Now I have audited it. Now Suchita wants to invest money in Rashmi's business. Suchita, will you feel confident that an auditor has checked it? Okay, I can trust the P&L, I can trust the balance sheet. So you might give money in Rashmi's company, yes or no? Why? Because you got some assurance. Now, Suchita, later on you come to know that I audited it. Okay, so Rashmi's company, Suchita is the banker, this is the customer, and I am the auditor. So Rashmi submitted her books of accounts, audited report to Suchita. Suchita gave her money. And after 1 year, Suchita comes to know that Rashmi's company has completely fallen and there is income tax raid on the company and all the bills were bogus. So is CA also, then can you jail CA also? Hey, you said everything is okay. We have come to know that all the bills were fake. Do I or you receive training to check authentication of documents, whether the documents are original or not? Do we get that training? Forensic training, lab training? Oh, is pe ye chemical dalo, put this chemical, then we will see whether this document is original or not. No. So as an auditor, do I give certificate on authenticity of the documents? Do I give any certificate that this document is authentic or not? So if Rashmi gave me a file full of bills, and I had no reason to disbelieve it, I had no reason कि ये bill fake होंगे, ऐसा सोचने का मेरे पास कोई reason नहीं. I have no reason to not trust these bills. Everything looks and appears to be okay. And then I checked it, and later on we come to know that all the bills are fake. All the real bills are in Rashmi's home in a secret cupboard. Can I go to Rashmi's home and open all the cupboards and see if there are any other bills or not? Yes, we are auditor, not FBI. So the assurance I am giving to Suchita, am I giving absolute assurance, 100%? Am I giving 100% assurance? No, I'm giving something here between 90 to 95%. This is just to explain, okay? You don't have to write this. This is just explanation. So I am giving something called as reasonable assurance. So as my job as an auditor is to give absolute assurance, no, I want to increase from 0 to something. And what is that? That is called as reasonable assurance, which means auditor will give reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatement as a whole. Did you understand? Did you connect the two things now? Okay, this is done. Now, the third important word, okay, the third important word is applicable financial reporting framework. Okay, this is our third keyword that I'm teaching you. Third concept, applicable financial reporting framework. Sometimes I might also write it as AFRF just for quick writing. In exam, you have to write full only. So applicable financial reporting framework. What does it mean? Okay. Do you know that financial statement definition can change from company to company? I'll tell you the example. So if I tell you I'm auditing financial statement of a normal company, what does it mean? What does it mean that I'm checking? What does financial statement include? What does financial statement include? In a company, what does financial statement include? Write down. Balance sheet, correct. P&L, correct. Cash flow. Then notes to accounts, very good. One thing you're missing, statement of changes in equity. When all this will be there, then it is financial statements of a company. But what if I'm saying I audit financial statement of a sole proprietorship? I'm auditing financial statements of a sole proprietorship. Then will it include the same financial statements? If I'm auditing financial statements of a sole proprietorship, it will have balance sheet, P&L, notes, maybe cash flow, not necessary. है ना? It means everyone has to prepare financial statement as per the applicability. Yes or no? It means the definition of financial statement. It means the definition of financial statement can change from entity to entity. Yes or no? So if I say that I'm checking financial statement in a company, it means I'm checking 5 things. But if I say that I'm checking financial statement of a sole proprietorship, I'm checking 3 things. Yes or no? So a company has to prepare financial statement as per their applicable financial reporting framework. Do you understand now? The company has to prepare. If I am an NGO, will I have P&L account? No, I will have something called as income and expenditure account. So financial statement definition again changed. Financial statement definition again changed. So each entity has to prepare their financial statement as per their applicable financial reporting framework. Everyone clear? So as an auditor, we have to check that whether the entity that I am auditing has prepared the financial statement as per their AFRF. Okay. So if it's a insurance company has Insurance Act. Yes. So they have something called as revenue account also. Okay. Revenue account also. Thank you so much, Manisha. So they have revenue account also. Again, financial statement definition changed. So applicable financial reporting framework. All right. These are some words that I've explained to you. Okay. These are just things that you don't have to write definition. But if you don't understand them, you won't understand the objectives. Okay. Which is our next topic. That is what are the objectives of audit. Can I teach objectives now? Basic words are clear. I'll teach objectives now. Okay. What are objectives of an audit? All right. So let's see objectives of audit. Now, for the first time, you are going to study standards of auditing. Essay number 200 gives objective. Objective means lakshya, motive, purpose. Why are we doing this audit? What do we want to achieve by doing audit? Who gives this objective? It is given by essay number 200. Now, one golden rule of auditing subject. That if there is a standard in the question and if you don't write it, you lose marks. So if the question and the answer has an essay in it, you have to always write it. Otherwise, even if your other part is perfect and if you miss writing essay, you lose marks. So objective कहाँ दिया है? Where is it given? What is the objective? Essay number 200. लंबा नाम है, very big name, but we'll learn it. Okay. What does it say? Overall objectives किसके? Of an independent auditor. Overall objectives किसके? Whose objectives? Overall objectives of an independent auditor. And conduct of audit in accordance with standards on auditing. Okay. Now, AS accounting standard 1 से शुरू होता है, okay? AS1, AS2, AS3. But our standards of auditing actually 100 से शुरू होता है, but first essay जो actually already available है, that essay is essay number 200, which means it's the first essay, it's the foundation essay. So which essay tells us that what to do, and which essay tells us that standards follow करने हैं? Essay 200. So what is the name? Overall objectives किसके? Whose objectives? Standard of auditing. Essay means standards of auditing. So like AS means accounting standard. Same way, to do auditing, we have standards on auditing. This will come in detail in this chapter only, okay? In the last part of the chapter, there is details about standards of auditing, okay? So the first standards of auditing that we are studying is essay number 200. It gives us guidance that how do you do audit. So essay 200 is giving us guidance that overall objectives of whom? Of an independent auditor, and how to conduct audit in accordance with standard of auditing. So why you are doing audit and how you are doing audit, that is covered by essay number 200. Why am I doing audit? Means objectives of audit. And how am I doing audit? I am doing it as per standards of auditing. Everyone clear? So objectives are as per essay number 200. Okay. Now what are our objectives? Now this you have to remember all the important keywords. So first objective of the auditor is to obtain. क्या obtain करना है? What do we have to obtain? Reasonable assurance. I need to obtain reasonable assurance. What assurance? Assurance about what? I have to obtain assurance whether financial statement as a whole, are free from material misstatement. Whether financial statement are free from material misstatement. किस type के material misstatement? Due to fraud or error. And plus whether financial statements are prepared as per AFRF. So what is the first objective? Now, right now, just remember the keywords, okay? Obtain what? Reasonable assurance. What reasonable assurance? Financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatement, from fraud or error, okay? Plus that financial statements are prepared as per AFRF. This much is clear? This is your first objective. Then what is the second objective? Okay, so I have found all this information. बहुत सारी, lot of misstatements I have found. Now I'll sit. Yes, I found the misstatements. Yes, audit finished. Misstatements मिल गई, audit finished. या बताना पड़ेगा. I have to tell ना. I have found misstatements. I have to tell to people I have to found misstatements. So the second objective is find it, then tell it. So just remember it like this. This is just memory trick. This is just memory. Find it, then tell it. No secrets. In auditing, no secrets. Okay. So find it and tell it. So first we have to obtain. And second objective is to report. What do we have to report? We have to communicate as per essay. As per essay, auditor's findings. Whatever we have found, we have to communicate. Everyone clear? So what are the two objectives of audit? Very important question. Very, very important question. Even 100 stars you can give to it. Very important. So what are the objectives? First, obtain, find it, and then tell it. So what do you have to obtain? Tell to the shareholders. Sudarshan, we will study this. Okay, there is a topic you will study. See, your questions are coming in advance. That's why I said by the time. See, to whom to report? Can you see, Sudarshan? किसको report करना है? That is covered later on. Okay. All right. So now let's see quickly. Very, very important market. Okay. Essay 200 compulsory. If you don't write this, you lose marks. So overall objectives of independent auditor and conduct of audit in accordance with standards on auditing. What is the objective? To obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement due to fraud and error, thereby enabling auditor to express an opinion whether financial statements are prepared in all material aspects as per AFRF, and to report on financial statements and communicate as required by essay in accordance with auditor's findings. Everyone clear now? So auditor is only giving reasonable assurance. We are not giving, it is different than absolute assurance. Okay. Absolute assurance means guarantee. However, reasonable assurance is not a complete guarantee. It is high level of assurance, but it is not complete assurance. Okay. So we are not giving complete assurance, but we are giving reasonable assurance. Then misstatements can happen due to both fraud and error. Auditor to seek reasonable assurance whether financial statements are as a whole are free from misstatements caused by fraud and error. You have to see the effect in totality. Okay. Then you have to see that the financial statements are prepared as per AFRF. And then you have to see that opinion is reported and communicated as per standards. You will study this later on. Okay. So if you get a question in exam, write about objectives. So you have to write this part. Okay. This is for understanding. Okay. And this part you need to learn. Everyone clear? So objective you have to learn. This is explanation of all the keywords. Is that clear? So this is not a specific answer. But objectives will be a direct question in exam. If it comes in exam, it will be a direct question. What are the objectives? So if you have a question like what are the objective of audit, you have to start with essay 200 and write these points. If you think the question is for 4 marks and this is very short, you can write definition of audit. Okay. All right. So I think we are done with this part. Objectives of audit. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next part, that is scope of audit. Scope of audit. Pay attention here. Should we mention the name of essay as well? Yes. You always have to write essay should always be with name and number. Okay, Shushmita? Essay should always be with name and number both. Thank you, Om. Thank you so much. I'm glad you are understanding. Okay. All right. So now let's come to scope. Pay attention. Okay. So let's say if we don't add, Harshal is asking, you lose marks. You lose marks, Harshal. You won't get full marks. So if it's a question of 4 out of 4 marks, you won't get 4 out of 4. You might get 3 marks. Okay. So pay attention, everyone. So first, scope, what does it mean? Think of this like a boundary. Think of this like a boundary, okay? That is scope, okay? So first, let's talk about what is not included. I don't want to talk about included first. First, I want to talk about what it is not included. So pay attention. Now, I told you that let's say I'm auditing Parv Rathod's company, okay? And he shows me that I have this bank FD of 20 lakh rupees. And he brings this, I tell him, please bring FD certificate. So he brings this nice FD certificate to me. And it has bank name, it has 20 lakh rupees written on it, it has dates, it has signature, everything is there. So I checked the FD certificate and I said everything is okay. Later on, we come to know that this FD certificate was bogus. This FD certificate was bogus. So can I be made liable for that? Can I be made liable for that? That no, you should have known that it is bogus. Unless there is very obvious sign, मतलब इतना obvious है कि मुझे पता चल रहा है कि उसने घर पे बनाया है. Okay, if it is so obvious, then it's different. But it's a very well-made fake. Bogus means fake, Rashmi. Okay, bogus means fake. So if I know it's a very well-made fake, then can I find it? No. So I cannot check authenticity. Okay, I cannot check authenticity. So is checking authenticity in my scope of work? Is checking authenticity of documents in my scope of work? No, it's outside my scope. Okay, now next thing. So in balance sheet, let's say there is plant and machinery, okay? There's plant and machinery of 60 lakh rupees. So what do I tell them? That in your balance sheet, plant and machinery is showing 60 lakh rupees. Show me the machinery. So they go, take me to the factory, okay? They take me nicely to a factory and there I see all the machineries. Can I see the machinery and know what is the value of it? अरे इसमें तो इतना जंग है, there is so much rust on it, there is no value. Can I check that? What can I check to verify the 60 lakh rupees? What can I do? What is possible in my scope to check? You think like an auditor. Bill, exactly. I can ask them to give me original bill and I can minus depreciation from that date of purchase. Yes or no? I can check that the bill is properly there, fixed asset register is there. I can go and see that the machinery is there, existing. I can check whether GST was paid, all that I can check. But am I an engineer? Can I know whether this machinery that is standing, isme kitna rust hai, whether it will fall today? No. So the next thing that I can't do, okay? Next thing that I can't do is duties that are outside the competence of auditor. Duties that are outside the competence of auditor. I cannot do that. Okay. It is not part of my training. It is not part of my job. And that is why I cannot check whether your machinery or your gold is actually real gold or not. Is that clear? Okay. So if I'm in a jewelry business, I cannot check daat mein laga ke haan, gold is super quality. It's 22 karat. No, I can't do that, right? I can check the documents about the gold. So not anything that is outside the competence, I cannot check it. Next thing that I cannot do is investigation. I cannot do investigation. What does this mean? It means that when I go and check someone's account, I am not going thinking, oh, today I will find fraud. No. I will check. If I find fraud, good. If I don't find fraud, okay. Ma'am, but an expert opinion can be taken during audit. Correct, Suniti. You can ask another person to come and check it if you have some doubt about it. So you will study that in essay number 620 using the work of experts. Okay, Suniti? So what you have raised question is a very important standard when we use experts in our audit. But is it used every time? No, it's not used every time. Yeah. So you are allowed to use any experts actually, but you need to have certain confidentiality and boundary contracts with them. And even if you use an expert, at the end, the accountability is only yours for the opinion you give. So if expert has said everything okay and you have given true and fair view, and then you come to know that expert was incorrect, so you cannot blame the expert. At the end, it will be your responsibility only. So you will study this in essay number 620 in CA final. It's not even part of CA intermediate syllabus. Okay. You will study this in CA final. So the third thing that audit is not part of my scope is to do investigation. I do not start audit with a suspicious mind that something is wrong. I want to find what is wrong. No, I'm coming to check it. If I find something wrong, I'll report it. If everything is okay, then okay. So we are not investigating FBI like someone said. We are not CID. We are not CBI. So we are not investigating people. We rely on the management to give us information. And next, outside our scope, responsibility to prepare and present financial statements. Is it my work to prepare and present financial statements? No. So it's not my job to do that. Okay. So it's outside the scope. So what are the 4 important things that is outside the scope of my work? I don't check authenticity of documents. Anything that is outside my competence is not in my scope of work. Investigation is not in my scope of work. And responsibility to prepare and present financial statement is not in my scope of work. Everyone clear? So first you all come to scope, what is not included. What is not included? Again, mark it as important. Okay. So auditor is not. So I have made these small points for you so that you can remember. Okay. So these are the main 4 points that are covered in the paragraphs. So auditor is not expected to perform duties which fall outside the domain of his competence. It means, so to summarize, the scope is to check whether or not all documents are in check. I don't understand what you're saying. I have not taught you that what we have to check. I've only taught you what we don't have to be accountable for. What we have to check is another big answer. What is included in our work is another big answer. I am only teaching you what we don't have to worry about. What is not in our boundary of work, okay? So for example, physical condition of certain assets like machinery cannot be determined. Similarly, it is not expected auditor to decide life of structures like building. These require different skill sets which may be performed by qualified engineers, okay? An auditor is not an expert in authentication of documents. The genuineness of documents cannot be authenticated because I'm not an expert in that field. Audit is not an official investigation into some wrongdoing. He does not have any legal powers of search or recording witness statements on oath. All this we can't do. We can't say गीता पे हाथ रख के कहो कि जो बोलूंगा सच बोलूंगा वरना कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. You know that statement? We can't ask. We can't ask our clients to do that. Okay, so we can't examine people on oath. We can just ask them. Whatever they give us, we can check. Audit is distinct from investigation. Investigation is a critical examination of accounts with a specific purpose. If a fraud is already suspected and it is specifically called upon to check whether accounts really exist, it takes character of invest. What does this mean? It means, suppose Meenu has audited. In audit, she has given some negative remarks. So recently, one of the big companies board got a very adverse remarks report. Okay, it means after the auditor gives adverse remarks, you can do investigation. That okay, something is wrong. Let's find out what is wrong. But auditor is not going thinking I have to find something wrong. Okay. The objective, on the other hand, has already been discussed, is to obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statement. Again, this is repetition. The scope of audit is general and broad, whereas scope of investigation is specific and narrow. Okay. So is it clear what is not included? So you can remember these 4 points properly. We do not check authentication. We don't do anything that is outside the competence. We don't do any investigation. And we don't have any responsibility to prepare and present financial statement. Now let's come to what is included in the scope. Okay. Scope, what is included? Let's come to that. Okay, pay attention. Example of competence. That only we gave 2 examples. So if there is a building, I cannot know that whether this building will fall in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. If I am auditing a jewelry business, I cannot know on my own that whether this gold is 22 carat, 24 carat or 18 carat or 14 carat. If I am auditing a manufacturing company, I cannot decide whether this machinery is sophisticatedly 10 years of life, 5 years of life. I can only check bills and I can only check depreciation. That is, it means I am not an engineer. It is not my area of competence. I am not a valuer. So it is not my area of competence. Is that clear, Premananda? जल्दी जल्दी बता दो, clear है? Okay. Truly impressed, ma'am. Your structured approach and clarity makes complex topics very easy to understand. Best faculty I have experienced till now. Thank you so much, Santosh. Today's first lecture only. Give me more opportunity and then you can tell, but thank you so much. So let's understand what is scope and what is included in scope, okay? So to understand scope, I have to teach you one keyword, okay? So let's first learn that, understand that keyword. So, have any one of you, do you understand an airport? Seen it or seen other people go into an airport? Everyone? Airport experience किया है? खुद किसी और को, anyway, you understand what an airport is? So, even if you have not experienced airport, do you know, anyone can enter in an airport? Okay, now let's take an example, okay? So suppose Anjum wants to travel, okay? Anjum wants to travel. So Anjum has her boarding pass, Anjum has her passport, and Anjum has one more ID card like PAN or Aadhaar, okay? And Anjum has her luggage. So Anjum is traveling with a nice luggage, okay? So first step at door, ID checking happens. ID checking plus ticket checking. Okay, Anjum has cleared this. Now she goes to the next step. Now she does check-in, luggage, So whatever is the check-in luggage, that she gets checked. Then she goes to the counter. Again, she gives her ID plus ticket, plus gives her check-in luggage, and plus she gets her boarding pass. Then she goes for security verification. In this, she empties her laptop bag. Okay. She gives her purse and she does frisking. What does it mean by frisking? Which means someone will tap on her. So there will be a lady constable, CPRF lady, and it will do all the proper things. So that is called as frisking. Okay. Then before boarding, they will again check your boarding pass plus your ID, and then she can go to the plane. Yes or no? Now, a company, any business has a set of systems. Why has airport created this system, this set of system? So that any kind of fraud, error, any kind of wrong can be stopped. Yes or no? That is why they have a system. So that any wrong that is happening can be stopped beforehand. And this is called as internal control system. This is called as internal control system. Now I'll explain with a different example, okay? Everyone might not have gone to airport, but you have done shopping at least. You have done shopping in a store. You have seen a mall or a normal store and you have done shopping. So I'm not a very good drawer. Suppose you're buying a t-shirt, okay? Have you seen there's like a badge on it? And there's a security system. So if you cross it with the badge, what will happen? It will produce big loud noise. Okay? Loud noise will come. What is that? What is that? What is that? This is again what? This is again an internal control system. What is this? This is automatically preventing any kind of theft. Okay? This is pilferage, loss of revenue. It is preventing all that. So, when we are an auditor, if this system is very good, will we check more or will we check less? If company's system is solid, if the company's internal control system is very strict, very good, do we have to do more audit work or less audit work? We have to check less. Now I'll give you an audit example, okay? So you understood general meaning. Now I'll give you one specific, okay? Suppose you are an auditor and two people come to you. Two people are coming to you, okay? This is a proprietorship firm and this is a partnership firm, okay? This person has a turnover of 2 crore. This has a turnover of 1 crore. Proprietor is saying that I am giving you my books of accounts. I have a proper accountant. I have taken Tally software and I have proper CCTV camera in my godown. And every month I check my own CCTV and I'm maintaining all the registers. Here you do my audit. Okay. Here you do my audit. What now? This partnership firm is saying, here takes my accounts. I ask, who makes your accounts? They're saying, all partners आपस में मिलके बना लेते हैं जी accounts. क्या है जी बड़ी बात, हम आपस में मिलके बना लेते हैं. We all just share the work, we make the accounts. Do you have Tally? Yes, sir, we have a pirated version of Tally. Oh, do you have register? No, sir. What is the need of register? We maintain everything online. Do you have CCTV? Oh, sir, we have such a small business. Why do you need CCTV, sir? So it has no CCTV, sir. It has no register, sir. Now, whose turnover is more? Who has bigger turnover? Proprietor has bigger turnover or partnership firm has bigger turnover? But who has better internal controls? Who has better internal controls? So even if turnover is bigger in 2 crore, my work will be more for what? In which A or B, in which do I have to give more time? Even if turnover is less, why do I have to give more time to B? Why do I have to give more time to B? Because internal control system is weak. Because internal control system is very, very weak, almost non-existent. So now tell me, as an auditor, will you directly jump and start audit, or will you first check whether the company has good internal control system or not? Will I directly start checking vouchers, or will I first check whether internal control system is good or not, reliable or not? If the company's internal control system is very solid, is very good, it means my work will reduce, yes or no? So suppose Mr. Proprietor Sahab jo hai, unhone tally they have put, which means GST is automated, yes or no? Automatically, all bills will have proper GST. But in partnership firm, I will have to worry whether they are collecting GST every time or not, whether the calculation of the GST is correct or not, whether the percentage of GST is correct or not, and my work will increase. Whereas if I know that Tally has very good reputation, Tally is a very good software, and the GST is very good, do I need to check each and everything? Do I need to check each and every time GST? I have to check 8% correct or not, 18% correct or not? I don't have to check. So, is checking internal control system part of our scope? How a company is maintaining their system, is it part of our scope? Yes. Now do you understand? But are we checking internal control system to give opinion on internal control system? क्या मैं internal control system इसलिए check कर रही हूँ क्योंकि मुझे internal control system पे opinion देनी है? No. I am giving opinion on financial statement only. But उस मंजिल तक पहुंचने के लिए internal control को रास्ते में साथ में लेकर चलना है. So I want to reach my destination, that is opinion on financial statements. But to reach that destination, I'm using internal control system. And I will charge more money from the partnership firm because my work will be very, very big. Okay. So now let's come to the scope. So this was one keyword I wanted to explain. Now this internal control will be used in every page of your auditing. It's such an important word, okay? So it will be used throughout the course of the whole chapter, all right? So let's come here. Things included in scope. So what is included in scope? Coverage of all aspects in entity which are relevant for financial statements being audited. Okay, what does this mean? So all of you, do you understand what's a minutes book? Do you know what's a minutes book in a company? Minutes. So what are minutes book? Notes of meeting. Yes. Meeting notes. Yes. Yes. Good. So all of you know. So after any meeting in a company, you make notes of the meeting, right? Is it anything related to accounting records? Is it anything related to accounting records? But do you think it can help me to audit my financial statements better? Yes, because it can give me information about what happened in the company, what decisions were taken, if they hired any lawyer, if they received any notice, if they received any search raid happened on them, I will know about that. If any new machinery was purchased, discussion must have happened, right or wrong? So we have to cover everything that is relevant for the financial statements. We don't just have to say that I'll check books of accounts. I'll just check financial statements. I have to cover all the aspects of the entity that are relevant for financial statements being audited. Everyone clear? So first is check everything that is important for financial statements. Don't say I'll check only books of accounts. Okay. Next. Then I have to check reliability and sufficiency of financial information. So it means that this books of accounts that you have given me, can I rely on it? Can I rely on the bills that you have given me? How do I check that? We can check by having proper study and assessment of accounting system and internal control system. So if your internal control system and accounting system is very good, it means the information that you're giving me is also reliable. If your accounting system, if your internal control system is very weak, then of course my reliability on the information you are giving me also becomes very weak. Okay. Third important thing that is in our scope is to check proper disclosure of financial information. We have to check proper disclosure of financial information. It means as an auditor, I don't just have to check that the information is just correct amount wise. I also need to see that anything that is important along with that is also disclosed correctly. Okay. So if you have an asset on lease, then you have to mention that this asset is on lease, even though I'm showing it on balance sheet. You will study in AS 19, financial lease, operating lease, you will study in detail. Okay. So if you are giving any information, you have to ensure that everything that should be disclosed is properly disclosed or not as per all the statutory requirements. As per all the statutory requirements, everything is properly disclosed or not. Okay. Then all auditor also check within this disclosure only. It is called as selection and consistency of accounting policies. What does this mean? So if last year I valued my depreciation on straight line method, then this year can I change the method to WDV? Can I change every year? And if I change for any reason, do I need to disclose the reason? Firstly, I cannot change every year. But if for some reason you have to change, you must disclose it. So that is also checking. So is this important for me to check? Yes. So even if because of correct reason you have changed accounting policy, does the company need to give disclosure compulsorily? Yes. So as an auditor, it is in my scope of work to not just check whether the arithmetical or mathematical calculation was correct. I also have to see whether the disclosure has been correctly given or not. Okay. So this is scope of work. What is included? What is included in scope of work? That coverage of all aspects in an entity relevant for financial statement being audited. Okay. Then reliability and sufficiency of financial information. How do we check it? By study and assessment of accounting system and internal control system. And proper disclosures of financial information as per statutory requirements, and selection and consistency of accounting policy. Is everyone clear? So here we are done with scope. We are done with scope. What is included, what is not included. Okay. Now just give me some answers here. Some questions for quick revision. So few things I have done. So whatever we have not done, we'll leave it. Okay. So who do you think appoints auditor for sole proprietorship? We'll take the questions also. Let me just finish MCQ. Who appoints auditor for sole proprietorship? Correct. Sole proprietor themselves. Which of the following best describes the level of assurance that an auditor gets in an SA 200? Absolute assurance, a guarantee that company will continue to exist, reasonable assurance that statements are free, limited assurance. 2 also C. Very good. When defining audit, which of the following statements describe the type of entity which can be audited? Only companies that earn profit? Only large organizations? Good. 3 also C. Any entity, whether profit oriented or not, regardless of its size of legal form. Which of the following task is outside the scope of auditor's professional competence? Everything I have given. Okay. Checking reliability, verifying if financial statements are in agreement, determining the physical condition and lifespan, ensuring financial statement is disclosed. This also C only. Okay. Last one we'll leave right now. Last one is pending to be taught. So here I'm done with my first lecture. Now I'll take up any questions that you have. Aditi, you can ask, go ahead first.
I'm not getting the point about historical financial information.
It means audit is done of something that has already happened, not something that will happen in future. Which means...
Okay, it is about the past.
Yeah. So audit is always done of something that has happened and not that something will happen in future. We'll study this in tomorrow's lecture, day after
And
tomorrow's
also
lecture.
one more thing, like in the scope of audit, it is also like required that the auditor should communicate with the management, or talk with the management, that when the reports they want and how, like what type of report they want, like communication should be there.
That will
in
come
the
in essay number 210, contents of the engagement letter. It gives reference to the form and content of the report that we need to give.
Okay, so communication must be there.
Yes, it will come in essay
So like
210
every information the auditor need to tell to the management that this is what we are going to do.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
fine.
basically, think of it like this, Aditi. It is not a report we prepare without management. In fact, before we finalize our report, we always show the draft report to the management and make them check it. And if they can rectify something, they can actually rectify it. And then we can change our report accordingly and then finalize it. So there's always an opportunity of being heard that is given to management. So we work with them, not against them. Yours is done, Aditi? Ganesh's question, ऐसे ही question आएंगे MCQ में. No, this is just for revision. MCQ, these are not for exam. This is for revision. Okay. Next question by Satish. Satish, please ask your question. Thank you, Bhavani. Thank
Hello.
you for your kind words. Yes, Satish ji.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, Satish.
Ma'am, after attending the classes, what to do to retain audit for
Yeah.
longer
So audit
period?
retention, I'll tell you like this, okay? Think of it like this. Audit is, if you study for the first time, you'll study this much and this much time, but you'll remember this much only. Okay. And then the next time you'll study little faster and you'll remember more. And then you'll study again, it will take time and still you'll remember this much. Basically, if I also don't teach auditing, I have been teaching for 14 years. But if I don't teach auditing for 6 months, do you think I can come to the class without revising? No, I have to
No.
revise. But how much time do you think it takes me to revise? Which means I take this much time, but I'm able to revise this much. Yes? So the goal of auditing is not that you will study today and remember after 10 days. The goal of the study is that each time you study, the next time the study time becomes less. And when the exam comes, suppose your exam is on Wednesday, within Monday and Tuesday, you are able to read everything, because if you are able to read everything, you will be able to remember next day. Do you understand, Satish?
Okay,
So the
ma'am.
goal of
Thank you.
auditing is that you study. So if I've taught in class, you go home and study it. Read it out loud, make notes, write down on paper, but you'll have to revise it again and again so that when the day comes, you can revise this whole chapter in 40 minutes. But when you study now, it will take you 5 hours. So the goal is to reduce the revision time from 5 hours to 40 minutes in exam so that you can revise all the 11 chapters. Because I can guarantee you one thing. अगर आज ऑडिट पढ़ा है तो कल जरूर याद रहेगा. आज ऑडिट पढ़ा है तो एक हफ्ते बाद याद रहेगा, इसकी गारंटी नहीं है. बट अगर आज ऑडिट पढ़ा है तो कल जरूर याद रहेगा. So our goal is that we study it in a way that when the time comes, we can revise it completely in 1.5 days so that we can retain it and write it in the exam. Is that clear, Satish?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next question. Next question by Hemin. Hemin.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. I
Good
have a
evening.
question in regarding to the assurance, where you gave an example stating that a company had a fixed deposit and it was a bogus. Wouldn't
Yeah.
an auditor, wouldn't an auditor would go to the bank and make sure a confirmation that
So you
so
can, if you have some doubts. So for example, when you study essay number 500, when you'll study, it's called as audit evidence. Okay. So as an auditor, I have to procure evidence, right? So when I did the act of asking them to give me FD receipts, that was an act of asking evidence. But if I want to, I can, there's no end to it. I can even tell them, give me your ID password for banking. I'll log in your bank account and I'll check whether FD is showing or not. Or I'll tell them, I'll go to the bank myself and do it. Everything is available. But till what extent can we do in a given situation? We have to justify that in our audit report. Is that clear? So if the court is able to prove that if auditor would have done little bit मेहनत और उसको पता चल जाता ये 20 लाख बोगस है, तब वो हम पे negligence का केस ला सकते हैं. But if it is proven that what I did was standard procedure and it was enough and there was no reason to be doubtful, then I can win the case. So there is no structure, there is no checklist given by law that मुझे check करना ही है बैंक में जाकर. It is auditor's judgment. Is that clear? And then if you are made liable in court because of that, then you have to prove. Then you have to prove it. But now FD and all is very easy to check, to be very honest. Okay. But that also, it is not necessary that I'll ask them ID password and check. Usually we get reports from them and check things. Unless and until there is doubt, I will not ask and I will not go and verify each thing on each bank's website to verify. Is that clear? So that is why
so
we say
will
audit is based on judgment.
Okay. So will that also matter for, let's say, if any invoice is there with a big amount, let's say it is 1 lakh or 2 lakh, and in audit we perform, like, we do sample and testing and everything to make sure that whether we receive that particular money or whether it's gonna be a bad debt. So will that in sampling process we will just use our judgment, or we will have to confirm with the, let's say it is we purchase goods, or let's say we sold goods to
Okay,
customer.
perfect. So again, there are various ways to verify it, which we have to take judgment as per the situation. So first way is GST. Okay. So if it is being shown in GST returns, all those purchases and sales, it means it's automatically tallied that it's from a genuine party. But suppose you're auditing someone that is not covered in GST. Then you have other way to check, that is an SA number 505, that is called sending external confirmation, which means you send a letter to the debtor or the creditor and ask them to confirm whether the party actually purchased the goods from you. So there are processes available for you to get that confidence, but it depends on you that whether you will use that process or not. So if I am having doubt, and if I have selected sample size of, let's say, 100 bills that I want to check, and out of that I decide that the top 10% bills I will check by sending external confirmation, I'll check with the GST return, then I can check it. Otherwise, I don't need to check it for each and everything. I'm allowed to rely on it. Is that clear? But how much,
Yes.
to what extent I will go, that is purely auditor's judgment. The thing is that you have to document why you took that judgment. And if, and God forbid, something happens and those sales were bogus and you are brought in court for that, you have to prove that you took all the steps that were reasonable. That's it. Then it's on the court whether they make you liable or not. But you will not
So
be
taking
default
the
liable.
hmm so taking those invoice amounts wouldn't be based on materiality, like the amount of materiality, how much we
Materiality, it would
determine.
be. It would be. That is essay number 320 that you will study, that how do we choose the samples. So there are 5 methods of choosing the samples, why we choose certain samples. So that is based on stratified sampling, simple sampling. So these are the different things that we'll study later on, that how to do the sampling. Essay 530, okay? And essay 320 is for materiality.
Oh, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we have Harshal. Harshal, you can ask your question.
हेलो मैम।
हाँ जी।
हाँ मैम, मुझे ये पूछना था, अभी जो आपने एज अ रिटन फॉर्म में फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग पर्पस जो समझाया था एज अ वर्ड वाइज, वर्ड टू वर्ड, to clarify the that particular word, mean by that, what is the meaning by that word?
Yeah.
That is वो एग्जाम में आ सकता है क्या, जो वर्ड्स आपने जो एज अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग
उनकी
पर्पस?
डेफिनेशंस बाद में आएगी, उनकी
ओके
डेफिनेशंस अभी आई नहीं है, लेटर चैप्टर्स में आएगी। बट चैप्टर 1 समझने के लिए मुझे वो बताना जरूरी था, तो मैंने अभी सिर्फ एक्सप्लेन किया है आपको, उसकी डेफिनेशंस नहीं पढ़ी है हमने।
एंड
क्योंकि
आई
मिसस्टेटमेंट
हाईलाइटेड
की डेफिनेशन एक अलग चैप्टर में आएगी, स्टेटमेंट एप्लीकेबल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क की ऐसे नंबर 700 में आएगी, सब अलग अलग जगह पे बिखरा हुआ है ना
रिस्पेक्टिवली,
जी।
रिस्पेक्टिवली आएगा ये सब।
हाँ, जब आएगा तब हम पढ़ेंगे डेफिनेशन, अभी सिर्फ समझो।
एंड मैम वन वन क्वेश्चन लास्ट, कि जो अभी जो अभी मैंने स्टडी किया, मतलब अभी जो लेक्चर देखा एज अ सेशन, तो अभी मैं इसका रिवीजन करूंगा एज अ 10-20 मिनट्स ऑन अ रफ पेज।
Yes.
So that is very effectively or not for the
Yes,
exam?
yes, you have to study page by page from study material. And if you want to make your notes, if you want to read out loud and study, write down and study, so whatever I have taught you, read it on your own. What will happen is at least the memory will retain for till the next lecture. Okay. So whatever I teach you, you just go through it once fully, line by line from the book. Okay.
Okay, ma'am, understood.
Yeah. Next, Premananda.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, when we're talking about the reliability and sufficiency of financial information, which includes in the scope of audit, The things that are not included in the audit, you said that expertise in authentication of documents and the preparation and presentation of financial statements.
Yeah.
So, how would I know as an auditor that the reliability and sufficiency thing could be, when it comes to auditing, how would I know that the reliability and sufficiency of preparation and presentation of financial statements are accurate?
Yeah. So we
Or
cannot
is
judge
it-
accuracy. We can judge that whether they are enough that I can start the audit. So when I say that I have to judge reliability, let me give you a small answer, Premananda. One client has come to you with handwritten bills, and one client has come to you with printout bills, pre-numbered printout bills. So which
Yes,
are
ma'am.
more reliable?
The printed ones, ma'am.
Why? Because they are. That's your
Because they
judgment. That's common sense, right?
yes,
So that is what is meant by that judging reliability. It does not mean that printed number के बिल में fraud नहीं होता. आपको कोविड वैक्सीन लगी ना, कोविड वैक्सीन
yes,
लगी इसका मतलब आप बीमार नहीं पड़ोगे ऐसा नहीं है, बट चांसेस कम हो गए.
yeah.
आप समझो ऑडिट इज लाइक अ वैक्सीन. It gives certain protection, but it does not give 100%. So same way, मेरे पास में अगर दो क्लाइंट आते हैं, एक के पास है हैंड रिटन बिल, एक के पास है प्रिंट आउट बिल, मैं
Yes,
किस पे ज्यादा रिलाई करूंगी? प्रिंट आउट
the
वाले पे.
printed
इसका
ones.
मतलब ये नहीं है कि मैं उसको चेक नहीं करूंगी, इसका मतलब है मैं सैंपल थोड़ा कम लूंगी शायद. प्रिंटेड हैंड रिटन वाले में मैं सैंपल थोड़ा ज्यादा लूंगी, ज्यादा मैनुअल कैलकुलेशन वगैरह करूंगी. बस दैट वी हैव टू जज. ये मेरे स्कोप में आता है कि मैं ये डिसाइड करूं, इंफॉर्मेशन मांगू, ताकि मैं ये डिसाइड कर सकूं कि मैं आपके काम पे रिलाई कर सकती हूँ कि नहीं. समझे?
So, ma'am, when you are doing vouching and verification, uh, all the vouchers are there. That part covers the sufficiency aspect.
Abhi to these are new students. Have you studied before? Because they don't. I have not even taught the word vouching and verification now. Let me reach that topic, then I'll solve that doubt. Because अभी तो किसी को नहीं समझ में आने वाला मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. आप पहले पढ़ चुके हैं ऑडिट के लेक्चर्स?
Yes, ma'am. 12 or 13 lectures.
वो समझ में आ रहा है. बिकॉज अदर पीपल विल बी लाइक व्हाट इज दिस वाउचिंग वेरिफिकेशन, हमें तो पता ही नहीं है क्या वर्ड है. सो बेसिकली अगर आप वाउचिंग वेरिफिकेशन करते हैं, वो एक तरीका है एविडेंस पाने का, पर ऐसा नहीं है कि वो उससे आपको सफिशिएंट एंड अप्रोप्रिएट एविडेंस मिल जाएगा. अभी तो मैंने बच्चों को सफिशिएंट एंड अप्रोप्रिएट एविडेंस का मतलब भी नहीं समझाया है. तो थोड़ा सा टाइम दीजिए, उस टॉपिक तक पहुंचेंगे तब मैं आपको क्लियर कर पाऊंगी, क्योंकि अभी मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें समझानी पड़ेगी, है ना.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, मुझे one of the methods पे कैसे करना है वो समझना था. मतलब vouching and verification is also part of an audit.
हाँ, अब
जैसे
वाउचिंग एंड वेरिफिकेशन में आप इंक्वायरी भी कर सकते हो, इंस्पेक्शन भी कर सकते हो, रिकैलकुलेशन भी कर सकते हो, एनालिसिस भी कर सकते हो. तो पूरा 500 का फंडा लगेगा उसमें. तो अभी बच्चों को पता ही नहीं है वो चीज क्या होती है, इसलिए अभी आई कांट टेक दिस, है ना.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
हाँ, ओके. संदीप्ति, सॉरी, संदीप्ति मानदे.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
गुड इवनिंग.
To be frank, my question may be very clear. Minimum question for everyone.
That's okay. You ask. I can explain. If it is in the scope of what we have studied, I'll answer. Otherwise, I told Premananda, we can take it when the topic is done.
Okay, ma'am. My question is based on the scope that we studied today itself. My doubt is that as per the scope included and not included, we just go for the auditing of the company. We do the auditing. After we finish our auditing while preparing the report, we found something which is wrong in the company. And
After
we put that.
we have prepared report, then
Yeah.
we are only finding something wrong. Okay.
Yeah, we found something wrong after auditing. Some numbers or figures, something is wrong. So we put that in the reports that something is wrong in this statement or in this. And if the management tells us to remove that part and delete it completely, should we follow them
No,
or should we
no.
keep?
You have to keep it.
Yeah, that was my main doubt, because
you have to
as you
keep
told that we need to abide with the management what
We
they
don't have
say.
to abide. We have to discuss before we put it in public. Now they have an opportunity to justify themselves. If they are able to justify, give me proof, everything is okay, okay. If they are not able to prove, then I am right. I'll put whatever is the correct thing.
Okay. And when we put that, they can't put any legal issues on that trial.
No.
Of such.
No.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, Suchita. Suchita, you can ask your question. Hello. Suchita, I can't hear you. Bhavani has asked, when will we get the PDF? After the chapter is over, then this whole PDF will be uploaded, okay? No, Suchita, you are not audible. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you so much for your kind words. Suchita, I can't hear you, beta. Can you try to type it? There's no audio. Zero audio. Can anyone else hear Suchita? I think most of the students are gone by now. Yes, no one can hear you, Suchita. I'll wait for you. You type it if possible. Rest students, if you don't have anything else, you can leave the class or you can stay to listen to other people's doubts. My question is how to write audit. We'll come to that, okay? Today is just an introduction lecture. Everything I'll teach you, okay? I'll teach you how to write, what kind of questions come, everything we'll do, okay? That's it. Anyone else, any question? All right, so I don't think we have any other question. Manisha, you have some question? You're raising hand.
Yes, ma'am. In the beginning, you were explaining something regarding contingent liabilities, na?
So
will we have to the auditor will have to report about contingent liabilities in
yes,
the report?
yes,
Okay,
it's
ma'am.
part of financial information.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Premananda, you have another question? Yes, Premananda, you have some question? Thank you, Lohit, thank you, Meenu, thank you, Divya. Thank you, Prajyot. Thank you, Charan. Thank you, Suniti. Okay, I don't think Premanand is saying anything. I can't hear him. Not responding. Okay. Okay, students, we'll end the session for today. We'll meet again on Friday and we'll continue the session. Okay. Please study this at home. Thank you, Sudarshan ma'am. This session is really useful. I think my seeing of audit changes. Most of them said auditing is not hard. I love this subject. If you love it, it'll love you back. Simple. So see you next time. All right, Manishi, let's end the session. Yes.